Welcome back, everybody. This Week in America, website thisweekinamerica.us. With us on the program, as mentioned, author Robert Gallant. He's written 5 novels, including Satan's Stronghold, the book we'll be talking about on today's program. He has over 30 years of experience in business and technology. The book is Satan's Stronghold. This is a thriller. You'll pick this up and will not be able to put it down. With us on the program, Robert Gallant, the author. Robert, welcome to the program. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you, Rick. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm really looking forward to discussing it with you.
I love this book, the whole concept of the book, and we'll talk about how this whole thing evolved. But the main character I love, it's a female lead, Chesney Barrett. She's a champion college swimmer, favored to sweep gold medals in the Olympics, and she's sort of recruited by the Drug Enforcement Agency. Talk about her, because this really is a powerful character.
Fun. Yeah, Chesney was the collegiate national swimming champion. She dominated all the trials for the pre-Olympics, and her mother picked her up at the airport, bringing her home, and their car was hit by a drug dealer fleeing from the police, smashed into him at 90 miles an hour. It killed her mother. It put her in the hospital and through rehab. So instead of being in the Olympics, she was in a hospital bed recovering, and she recovered fully physically, but she is very angry over what was taken away from her by drug dealers. So when the government agent came to her, she had an EPA grant to do graduate studies in the Chapalaya Basin there in Louisiana, and he came to her and said, "Hey, you have a perfect cover for being in the middle of the swamps. We need you to help us find this drug factory." And she knew, well, that's very dangerous. I can get killed. But she said to herself, I'm going to make sure that this drug dealer does not do to anyone else what that drug dealer did to me. So I'm going to run whatever risk I have to run.
Really interesting characters. The book we're talking about is Satan's Stronghold. You'll find information on the book. You can purchase the book at Amazon.com, and you can go to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, and link on directly. Great characters and a great location as well. And I understand you spent a good part of your life in Louisiana. So this whole area, the bayou in the area we're talking about there, that was sort of your home area there for a while, wasn't it?
It was. I lived in Florida and graduated from college in Florida in engineering. And I was hired by a big corporation in Louisiana. So we spent 28 years there in Louisiana. I was absolutely fascinated by this fantastic environmental area, the Chapalaya Basin swamp that scatters over the whole area of major part of Louisiana. And it's probably one of the 2 most important environmental areas in the United States. And it also has the Cajun culture of the Canadian French people who were brought down there by the British to get them out of Canada. And so they went into that Cajun area and they figured out they could cook anything. They can take something that you'd say, who would want to eat this? And when you eat it, it's delicious. Plus, there's the old plantations. There are plantations scattered over it. And you have the remains of these plantations and the people who remember what the culture was like. And I thought, what a beautiful combination. It's my opportunity, because when I write a novel, I want it to be both a suspenseful thriller, but I want to give the person reading the story a true insight as to what that area of the country and the people and the culture and the technology and so forth that's involved there. So that just really excited me. That was the first novel that I worked on.
Well, and I tell you, when I mentioned all the characters that are very well written, and you'll find yourself being totally engrossed in the characters. The location almost becomes another character, doesn't it? I mean, the way that you write about that, it's a very vital part of the book.
Yes, it is. And again, the when book reviewers did it, they pointed out that, just as you're saying, wow, this area is a character of its own, and he has a wonderful knowledge of it, and he's telling us things about that area that nobody knows about up until now. So it's exciting to me to do that. That's what I like to do in my novels. In fact, I was amazed because this one guy who had spent his whole life in Louisiana, his last name was Fontaine, so he's Cajun.
That, yes.
And he said, after I read it, I said, I didn't know all of this about that area. He said, I went out and I got a fishing guide to take me through a couple of the areas that you had talked about. And I was really seeing them through different eyes. So I said, well, you can't beat that.
No, sometimes if you're there, you sort of take it for granted. And when you're reading about it, it's like, wow, this is neat. And then you realize it's in your own backyard. So you sort of take a different perspective with that. Robert Gallant is our guest on This Week in America. The book we're talking about, his newest, called Satan's Stronghold. It's available at Amazon. You go to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, and link on directly to information on Robert's book. We talked about the agent involved, Travis Weld. Talk a little bit about him. He's an interesting guy. I think gruff, if I was going to choose one word to describe him, would pretty well sum it up. Am I accurate with that?
You're absolutely right. He has a very simple philosophy. The only good terrorist and the only good drug dealer is a dead one. And so he is not the type that says, okay, you're under arrest. Now you need to come and go on trial. He's more likely to simply put a bullet between their eyes and say, we just saved a lot of money on trials. So he taught her that, hey, hesitation means that you're the first one to die. So you do not hesitate in a serious situation because you're going to die if you do. And he taught her deception is the norm, and sex is a weapon, and you do not show any mercy towards your enemy. So that was new for her. But she is a very sharp person. She has the ability to come across as, I'm just a very enthusiastic, maybe too zealous environmentalist, wanting to be out here in the middle of the swamps. I want to walk every foot of it. I want to study every inch of it. And so she's just this innocent graduate student who's going to irritate the heck out of these bad guys because they say, stay out of here. Well, I'm doing environmental work. But she's as cagey as a fox, and she knows how to avoid traps, and she knows how to search out every clue. So she's so good, in fact, in this story that I did 3 more stories featuring she and Weld, where he gives her these terrible assignments like, hey, it's very easy to get killed on this, but she is superb at being able to get in with various people, convince them, I'm kind of on your side, and gee, I'm just here wanting to help you out, while she's digging through to find out, okay, who are the villains here?
And people will be glad to realize that it's not the end of her when you get to the final page in the book of Satan's Stronghold, that she will live on because she's a great character. Travis Weld, we're talking about, is the working with the government. Explain their relationship. It's combative, and sometimes it's a sensual relationship too, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because they're, in a sense, you'd say they're from 2 different worlds. He's always, hey, I'm ready to battle this one out, and I'm not going to negotiate with him. I'll probably just go ahead and kill both of them because I know one of them's the bad guy. And she's more with you got to watch out. People who are innocent, you don't risk the lives of innocent bystanders. But he is both gruff, but he's also warm and caring about her. He really wants to protect her. He really wants to teach her how to survive in that world. And they have a very sensual relationship in the sense that he's kind of James Bond with a death wish.
You know, and it's interesting because, as I mentioned, she was a champion swimmer. Look forward to going to the Olympics and probably winning a number of gold medals there. Unable to do so, but that competitive spirit that still comes out at her, doesn't? When she finds herself in these positions, that competitive spirit is to the forefront once again.
That's right. She never lost a swimming meet because she was absolutely determined. I am going to finish first, and I will do whatever I have to do to drive myself to get there. So she uses her swimming skills in this. When she runs into a problem of being challenged by a guy who's going to kill her, she gets him in the water. She jumps him and takes him into the water because she knows in the water she's like an alligator. You do not want to deal with her in the water. And when they try to catch her one time, she just disappears into the swamp, and where the heck did she go? Because she is such a great swimmer, and she's also very fit. She's 6 foot tall, and as Weld told her, he said, "Your legs are a two-edged sword. They're both irresistible, but you can kill a guy with those legs."
Robert Gallant, our guest on This Week in America. The book we're talking about is his newest. It's called Satan's Stronghold. It's available at Amazon. Information at our website, thisweekinamerica.us. With a background in business and technology that I mentioned, research is very important to you. And one thing that you said is you've sort of learned to strive to always ask the right question as you've gone through your career. How important is that skill in your writing the book, in determining where the characters are going to go to make sure that it makes the most sense? Because the story, Satan's Stronghold, really has a nice flow to it.
Yeah, you're right. My time working out in industry, for one thing, I did a lot of writing when I was in industry. I published 3 technology books and a book on management, and I had over 50 articles published in scientific journals. And my strength was that I could take complex situations or technologies and make it easy for people to understand what that technology is and how to utilize it. So I put this to use in my stories because I ask questions of, my question was, well, if somebody hid a production plant in the middle of the swamps, how would you find it? And out of that evolved, well, your only hope is to somebody who understands that swamp real well and can get in there and not get killed when they're there. And that was Chesney Barrett. And Weld is the right guy because he does not say, okay, we got to do this exactly by all the legal rules and so forth. He has, as I said, a very simple philosophy. It's much better to kill them than negotiating with them. And he's very good at training. Now, he was a brutal trainer. He put her through a brutal, intense training. But it did prepare her for it. He told her, they will play games with you in that swamp. You have to be able to outthink them. And very early in it, she finds out, okay, here's this guy that threatened her earlier in the swamp of don't come in this section anymore. And she's on her way to a dance there in the town, and he's standing there just a little ways in front of her, and he's got a big hunting knife and he's slicing on a piece of wood. And she said to herself, he's trying to intimidate me. So instead of working her way around him, she just walked straight up to him and said, I understand that you are very knowledgeable in the swamp. Could you take me into some of the sections that have never been explored? Because that's where I want to get some of my samples. And he's kind of, I ain't a, I ain't a fishing guide. But what she did was, he'd have to think, she can't possibly be a government agent. She's wanting me to take her out in the middle of the swamp where I could kill her. So he takes her off his list. And this is how she operates. She is very good at figuring out, okay, how do we play this game? And she plays it better than anybody else.
Yeah, you'd think she plays it better than the people who are supposed to be playing this game. They're getting paid to play the game. Here's this college champion swimmer that suddenly is in a whole new territory, and she's dominating that territory. She is a strong, powerful, shrewd woman. And I understand, as is your technique in doing research, you want it right. You want it to be reflective. You had your wife take a look at it, and she said a few things that, I think you could beef up this character a little bit. And what she worked with you in developing Chesney, as we see here in Satan's Stronghold.
Yes, I have to give Margie credit. I probably should have made her a co-author, because when she read my first pass, she said, do not make the woman dependent upon some manly hero. She must be able to influence the outcome of the story with her own capabilities. So I really tore up what I'd written, invented then Chesney Barrett, and I said, this is so much better. It just opens up doors that
yes.
You can imagine. And so consequently, my next 3 novels featured her and Weld. Weld would always takes her into, oh my gosh, do you really want to be in the middle of this? But she's so good at being able to outmaneuver, outthink, and outdo the others. Because when she was a champion swimmer, her dad told her, watch the people who are the best, figure out why are they so good, and then be at least that good, plus come up with a few things of your own that make you even better. And that's exactly the philosophy that she applies.
This is an excellent book. It is a real page-turner. It's a delight to read. We've got the plantation owner involved, the foreman, the people involved in the drug operation. You've got Chesney seducing whoever Chesney needs to seduce to get to the bottom of all of this. The book is called Satan's Stronghold. It's available at Amazon. The author is Robert Gallant, who's been our guest on the program today. Robert, excellent. I'm so delighted to hear that this is going to be the first of several novels that will feature Chesney and Travis. Thank you so much for sharing that with us on the program today. Excellent job with the book.
Thank you very much, Rick. I really appreciate the ability to talk about it, because I am excited. I think it's a great book. And my wife gave me one other thing that was a brilliant comment. She said, an artist paints pictures with a brush. A writer paints pictures with words. Your reader should be able to visualize the scene that's taking place, what it looks like there, what the people look like, and how they're reacting. And again, that fit very well because I do all this research, so I have all this information. And again, when I did that, I said, oh yeah, because I was moving the story too fast. And what she was saying, slow down a little bit. You don't have to get to the next scene immediately. Bring the people with you. You want them walking along with you as you go through this scene. So I got to give Margie a lot of credit. She really helped my writing.
Well, and that is what's so enjoyable with the book, because as you're reading it mentally, you've got this movie unfolding as you're going through the book, because you can see the characters. If you gave me a sketch pad and said, draw what the characters look like, I'll give you my interpretation of the characters and the location and all of that. The book is vividly written. Again, it's called Satan's Stronghold. It's written by Robert Gallant, our guest on the program, Gallant. Information available at our website, thisweekinamerica.us. And, of course, the book is available at Amazon. Robert, thank you again for being with us on the program. We'd love to have you come back and talk more. Thank you for being with us.
I'd really like to, Rick. In fact, I got 4 more I can come talk to you about.
I would love to have you back on the program. The new book is Satan's Stronghold. It's available at Amazon. Information, of course, at our website, thisweekinamerica.us.